So here at Chelmstown, we are desperately looking to win our 6th successive promotion and make it into the Football League. We've only got 2 games left to do it. Chorley and Yeovil were coming for you today. Notts County were right on your heels. If we don't manage to do it, we're going to end up in the playoffs, which, you know, if you told me that at the start of the season, I honestly would have thought absolutely incredible. I was 100% expecting us to get relegated this season. So just to be in the conversation is obviously an absolute dream. But with us being in and around the playoffs for the majority of the season, at this point, it would sort of feel like a failure, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, hope you're looking forward to this as much as I am. Let's get into it. So today we've obviously decided to come back for the Chorley game, which is, you know, the last but one game of the season. We've got a few games to catch up on, I think 3 since you were last here, when obviously we had this 4-3 loss to Woking. A very annoying game, being, you know, we were 1-0 up and then 2-1 down, pulled it back, conceded, and then lost in the 87th minute. Yeah, I mean, it was very back and forth the entire second half. After I thought we had the better of the first half, it's just once they got going with that first goal, they just sort of never stopped. Although that might be me rose-tinting it, because I do seem to remember complaining that every single time they got the ball, they were dominating us. But yeah, since that game, we had a few more results, and we're going to go through them probably one at a time. Next up, we had the game against Dorking, who were in 4th when we looked at the fixture list, but I think they were in 6th by the time we played them. Either way, we drew 1-1 with Dorking. I'll be honest, this did feel like a bit of a gift of a result. When they went 1-0 up in the 9th minute, I was very scared that we were just throwing this away, as we have done in so many, you know, games recently. Aguiman puts it out to Alechi, ball comes out to Parker. I think he gets a nice cross in, yeah, and Swindles, puts it past right in the net. That was the 9th minute, but in the 14th minute, we managed to get a throw in. Foyo and Lewis link up, managed to get the ball in. Goalkeeper just takes a wild swing at it, trying to go for a punch, I think. Misses completely, falls to Williams to put it in the open net. After that first goal, it was definitely all us. We were on the front foot, we were pushing the entire game, as you can see from the XG, but we just couldn't make anything of it. They pretty much had that first goal, put them up to a 0.32 goal difference, and they only got 0.14 in the entire rest of the game. So not really any good chances for them. It is very annoying that we couldn't quite push through and get that second goal and secured the 3 points, because it definitely would have made quite a difference to our season so far if we did. After that game, we had the game against top of the league. So, you know, obviously, with how things have been going lately in all the live comms up against the good teams, I was going into it thinking I'd have been incredibly happy with a draw, and we absolutely destroyed them. And I don't really understand how this happens with our team. You know, it seems like as soon as I load the game up, you know, hit start record and do a game for a live com, our team just refused to show up. But then on other days, I'll load it up late at night, be like, oh, let's just get through this game, and I'll come back for the Chorley one instead, because this is just a write-off. There's no point in us playing first place. We've got almost no chance of getting anything from this, and look what happens. It's just the only change I made to our tactic was, instead of playing positive like this, I played unbalanced, and we absolutely dominated them. It just doesn't make sense. I even had to give up a sub spot to Tommy Jackson because Wright wasn't at full fitness, but I didn't want to risk not playing him and putting Jackson in. It doesn't make sense. But yeah, it started off 50th minute, Boyang with a lovely pass over to Clark, and he popped it straight past the keeper. And it was a little bit tense, quite a few chances, but 77th minute, felt Woodyard, put a lovely ball over to Birchall, headed it through. Clark got his second of the game with a neat finish into the bottom corner again. And then even Morehouse grabbed a goal late on, 89th minute, well, just going into stoppage time. Dunn passes the ball over to him, and it's a classic Morehouse goal from outside the box. Could have had a bit more power to it, to be honest. But absolutely thrilled with the finish and the result as a whole. I mean, look, as you can see from their team, they didn't really do anything. It's this 4-3-3, I swear. It just doesn't work for any team, it turns out. But yeah, absolutely incredible result. Which actually, now think about it, we proved wrong in the next game, because we were forced to switch to our 4-3-3 for the game against Old Trincham in the next match. This was just a one-man performance from Agburn up front. We had to switch to this formation because our midfielders were just absolutely knackered. Like I said in a previous video, we don't really have enough midfielders that are of high enough quality to be able to play the 4-1-3-2 reliably. So I decided to give Birchall and Lawton a game, and they really came through and performed, to be honest. I mean, we definitely weren't the best team overall. I mean, as you can see from the stats, they had 18 shots, 10 on target. We had 12 and 3. They had considerably higher XG than us. They got a fair shout at the game. 2.05 XG with 2 goals. We managed to get 3 from only 1.4. But one of ours was, I think, probably one of my favourite goals of the season so far. But first, They started off in the 10th minute with a nice little pass over to Diallo there. And I was really praying for an offside flag here, but he was well behind the plate when the original ball was hit, which was a bit annoying. But yeah, this one I think it is. It's Morehouse picks up here, puts the ball over to Agbenone, first time volley into the bottom corner. Absolutely beautiful little link-up play there. Brilliant way to get back into the match. And then not long later, Morehouse gets the ball again, puts it up to Lawton, who this time squares it to Agbenone, pop it in the bottom corner. 31st minute, we managed to get another one when Morehouse gets the ball once again, puts it out to Birchall this time, who squares it inside for Agbenone. Just the front three were really linking up, and Morehouse was very much the key point, the key centre point for that, pivot up front. But yeah, they got one back just before the second half with a nice little finish from Norkett into the bottom corner. And to be honest, the second game sort of played out relatively uneventfully. They were the better side, well, throughout the game, but definitely in the second half. But they just couldn't get past our defence. Like, lots of chances getting into the box, not many good shots. So yeah, with those 4 games in mind, we have actually got all the way up to second, and I really don't understand how. Guaranteed ourselves a playoff spot. Aldershot are actually down in third now. They've actually had a terrible few games. They managed to beat Walsall, but then lost to us and Boreham Wood back to back. So it's very much that South Shields effect from last season. Is it last season? Was it South Shields? I think it was. I'll be honest, with the little break I had to take due to my health, it feels like that was years ago at this point. So yeah, we're now trying to track down Notts County, who have got a relatively easy last 2 games of the season. They're playing Hartlepool in 16th and then Rochdale in 8th, so there is a chance that Rochdale could screw them up. Our tough game here is obviously coming against Chorley. We are going to jump pretty much straight into that because, if there's an outside chance that we could win the league on the last game of the season, I'm going to make this a double header. So there's 1 or 2 clips I think I've recorded over the last few games, so we're just going to pop them in now, and then we should be straight into the Chorley game, being as that's tomorrow in game. Just an interesting thing I've just noticed, it's the Vanarama National League Player of the Season voting, and it sort of tells you just that there's not really any dominant strikers in the league, or the fact that long ball football is all that is played at this sort of level. The fact that there is no one further forward than a midfielder that's even nominated. Almost everyone that is nominated for Player of the Season is a centre-back, and none of them have been for us. So yeah, it's just it's a strange thing, because normally you look at this and there's at least one person that's got sort of 20-25 goals or a load of assists, and the highest is 4 goals and the highest is 3 assists. It's just a little bit crazy. It's always frustrating when a player's kicking off they want a new contract, but I feel with James Wright it's probably justified. I mean, we brought him in as a backup keeper, I believe, on only £90 a week, and he's played almost every game this season. He's played 40 games, only conceded 44 goals in that time, which, it's not great, but 17 clean sheets. That means when he has conceded, we've generally conceded a few, I suppose. So yeah, I think it's probably fair that we offer him a new contract. I'm just really hoping he doesn't ask for the world, realistically. According to this, he's only a Vanarama National League North-South sort of quality player, but I'd definitely like to keep him around, even if, he stays as a backup. If we bring someone else in, we could just sort of give him a bit extra money and see, if he's willing to stay as our number 2 potentially. Try that. I'm going to try it first choice. Okay, it just kicks off. Never mind. We will discuss it with him at the end of the season, as was agreed. And okay, so we're not quite lining up with the full strength team for this, but it's a good enough team, realistically. We've got right at the back, Clement, Shepherd, Jackson and Snodry across the back, close to full strength at the very least. But we're going to have to go with Gofford in defensive midfield. Boyang, Woodyard and Dunn across the middle, so we're sort of swapping Morehouse out for Woodyard realistically and just reshuffling a bit. And then Agbenone and Clark up front. I was going back and forth on all 3 of Agbenone, Clark and Williams, but I've decided to go with Williams just because, Agbenone obviously came off a fantastic last game and Clark is just our best player, stat-wise at the very least, up front. So between the 2 of them, I'm hoping they can get the work done. We are really struggling, as I've said, on our reserves. I mean, the only ones that are sort of suitable to be playing are Jackson, Waldo, Adiemo and Lawton, none of which really suit any positions we're looking for. So I'm not thrilled about that, obviously, but I'm hoping this can do the job. Gofford, I might end up dropping him back as an anchor, so we're sort of playing 5 at the back on defence then. But I'm not 100% sure about that. I am actually going to switch Mazzala on attack and move you to a defensive ball-winning midfielder, Woodyard that is, just so that, we've got a bit more going forward and more coming back. with Dunn sort of staying around the midfield, I believe, is how I see that working out. Fingers crossed. Just really need a result out of this. Two players are struggling with fitness. I mean, they're not at 100%, but they're in good condition. And neither of them are 100% vital. If they did pick up a small knock, we should probably have them back in the playoffs, realistically. Been on a good run of form out there. Go out and impress me. I am going to pump up the strikers and the defence. Midfield already seem relatively motivated. And let's go for it. We are in our 4-1-3-2 formation, as we know, as you've already seen. And Chorley are going a 4-3-3. So we've had good success against the 4-3-3 lately. Hopefully that continues now. As you can see, we're 1 point off the top, but only at 1 point ahead of Aldershot as well. If we get anything out of this game, we should sort of be guaranteed a top 3 finish. So I'm really hoping we can make that happen. And we're starting off very quickly with a 3rd minute highlight. A done free kick. Clark flicks it on, but it goes slightly wide. Looked like it was wide and over, to be honest, so not super dangerous. Only 449 people here to see this game today. It's a lot lower attendance than we've had in a couple of the live comms recently. Oh, I didn't actually notice Cade Ratchford's playing for them. Oh, I can't see that coming back to bite us. Let's see how he's been getting on for them actually this season. 14 appearances, 2 goals, 2 assists, 6.71 rating. I mean, that is not bad. It's worse than any of the seasons he was with us, you know, average rating wise. But he is doing better than he was last season or the season before for us, realistically. So yeah, fair play to the guy. I think that's the first time I've really been worried that one of our ex-players is going to come back to bite us. A Dunn header now in the 22nd minute. Boyang ends up picking it up at the end of the box. Dunn looks to get it back in, coming out wide. He's going to get a crossing, isn't he? Pulls the ball back. It falls to Clark, but it's Agbonon on the floor, managed to block it. Yes, it was. Clements now gets the ball out to Shepherd, and that's just the end of the highlight as he breaks into the box. So what happens when you've got a defender attacking, I suppose. So there's not really much going on in this first half. So I'm going to do a quick demand more before the break. Try and get a bit extra at the players. Most of them reacted well. Agbonon is furious. You must think his 6.5 is more than enough and all that he's got to offer. I mean, on one hand, they haven't had a chance yet, really. They've got 0.03 goal difference. I don't know if like a goal kick went all the way through to right. But yeah, your shooting's not been good enough. Let's try and get a few people up for it. Let's get the midfielders. I know you've got the ability to make the difference here. I believe you can still improve. That's everyone buzzing. Not going to make any changes just yet, but if it's still 0-0 at 60 minutes, I might. But for now, we've got a long ball going out to Boyang out on the left. Clements gets the ball in. Agbonon flicks it on. Clark gets a header. And he puts it in the back of the net. Is that onside? Everything sort of froze a bit. Like the ref standing still, and I'm really worried that was because of like an offside animation or something it was going to play. I don't know. But yeah, that's a brilliant start to the second half for us. Boyang getting the ball to Clements here. Lovely little flick on from Agbonon. And Clark managed to finish it. Just what we needed. How is the... What is the Notts County game saying? Is that still drawing? 0-0 Hartlepool. I really miss the panels you used to be able to do on a football manager where you could sort of just pin a game and watch. Well, not a pin. You could like add it to your pin matches and just keep an eye on it throughout the game. You can't really do that too easily now. I mean, you've got like that screen, but that's blocking a lot of the game. But either way, in the meantime, we've got Clark running down the right. He gets the ball in. Boyang powers a header straight into the arms of Callaghan in net. That could have been the moment. But now it looks like we might have another chance. Would you have picked up the ball in midfield? Boyang and Gofford look to do something. Comes over to Clark. He's got past the defender. Puts it out to Boyang. He's 1-on-1. And he's blasted it in the near corner. Absolute scenes down at Damson Park. Oh my God. Boyang to Gofford. Clark with a lovely bit of unselfish play here. He could have probably broke to the right and tried himself, but he puts it into Boyang. Rockets it in the bottom corner there. This is crazy. I was really thinking that this, you know, we would continue our streak of just being absolutely terrible in live comms, and that does not seem to have been the case here. Look at this. Look the first half. I feel like we might have had one green name, and now everyone is just coming into the second half flying. Right, 20 minutes left. I'm probably going to make a sub or two. We've got a few very dead legs on there. Gofford is really struggling. I'll bring Morehouse on for a bit. Swap our defence around, our midfield around some. Woodyard, you can actually stay as a ball-winning midfielder on defence. And I want Dunn as a deep line playmaker on support. I suppose it doesn't mean we're going to be slightly more forward, but I don't think that's too big of a deal right now. Shepherd is struggling, but we don't really have anyone to cover him. Yes, we do, because I could bring Bates on and move Clements into the middle. He's decent at that role, I believe. And we'll see how this looks. How is the other games going? Notts County are now winning, so they're back top. I like that I looked for their game rather than looking for the actual league table that shows that. This would guarantee us, wouldn't actually guarantee us a second place finish. Looking at it, we've still got a pretty bad goal difference. Right, looks like he's all over the place here. Just get rid of the ball and you'll be fine. I'm not a fan of how that was playing out. Dewberry with a long ball over. Jackson gets the ball out to Bates. Taylor does pick it up though, but he rockets it well over the goal. Now Clements in the 89th minute. Woodyard is taking his time on the ball. Just keep possession. We are good here. We've only got 3 minutes to kill, and as long as we don't concede twice, we should be okay. Ball comes out to Tonadre. Long ball up to Clark. He's going to square this, isn't he? No, he's not. He's just going to chip it past the goalkeeper, but it's so slow. The defender managed to get back to it in time. Taylor's putting the ball to the back post. We managed to header it away. I am going to make a sub after this highlight, just to try and kill a little bit more time. Whelan does pick it up into the box though, but he also fires it over. We'll look to save some legs. I'm just going to give Williams a quick run out. Clark has been man of the match for our side. We'll give him a bit of a rest. Switch the instructions round. Time waste. Keep the ball. Slow things down. That works for me. Only got a minute to kill anyway. And right, it seems to be taking my instructions very well. Just get the ball out wide here. Thank you. Jackson, just get rid of it. I don't like this messing around in front of the goal. I know I've got player defence on, but it's also very terrifying when I actually see it happen. Dunn gets the ball out to Agbenone. Boyang. Ball all the way back. Just what I like to see. I mean, even if they do score here, like if we mess something up and give them a free chance, they shouldn't have time to do anything more at least after we've just killed 40 seconds there. But now we've got Williams coming forward. He's looking to get the ball in. He's just looking to kill a bit of time, but he gets it back to Morehouse. Whoa, what a finish. I was thinking, I was so certain that was in, then I was so certain it was coming back out again. I didn't really know how to react. It's very back and forwards. But a beautiful finish in off the crossbar from Morehouse. What a powerful shot, as always. Actually from inside the box, which is a rarity, but barring in just makes it over the line. Absolutely beautiful. We're still going to proceed with tactical changes. Notts County is still 1-0 up, and it's very unlikely that's not going to be the final result. But yeah, what a win. A very nice victory. Well done. So yeah, Notts County did end up winning 1-0. They have got a much better goal difference than us, so we need for us to win and hope they don't. If they don't win in the final game, we could actually sneak the title once again, which would be insane if that happened, but I don't feel confident it's going to. Who are they playing in the final game again? They're playing Rochdale. Like I've said, Rochdale have been a thorn in our side multiple times. They knocked us out of the cup. How have they done against Notts County earlier in the season? Well, they drew 1-1 last time. I'm going to have to make this a double header. So, as is standard, we've got a team meeting. I mean, we know what we're going to say. We've got an outside chance of winning the title, or nobody expects to win the title, so don't be concerned. No, I think I'm definitely just going to put outside chance to win the title, yeah. As long as we play our game, that's all that we can control, so there's no point in getting stressed realistically. We are just hoping for either a draw or a Rochdale win in the other match, but there's no point in getting caught up in it because I don't think it's going to happen. So one thing that I didn't actually notice is there's almost a 2-week gap in between our last game and this game against Yeovil. So I've come to mess with my team a little bit, and absolutely everyone is in peak physical condition. So we are going to be playing a 100% full team strength here. So hello, I'm actually just editing this down at the moment and realised I didn't give a rundown of the team. As you can see on the screen, we've got Wright in goal, Lewis, Jackson, Tonadre and Pritchard along the back, Foyo defensive mid, Boyang, Dunn and Morehouse in midfield, and then Williams and Clark up front. I will also say, I'm not going to give you the full match highlights, we're just going to do this. So we have to win this no matter what. If we draw, then even if Notts County win, Notts County already winning 1-0 up in the 4th minute. Tonadre, long ball over. Williams gets a head down to Clark. Morehouse looks to put someone through. He gets it through to Williams, takes a touch, and that was the oddest shot. Oh, was that offside? No, don't do this to me. Going down the left-hand side, Davison now puts the ball through to their version of G. Williams, who puts it in the back of the net. They've got a free kick. It goes to their back post, and they've scored again. Yeah, okay. So that is the end of the game. We have lost 2-0 in our final game of the season. And it looks like we're heading into the playoffs. I'm not happy with that performance at all. How did their game finish? They did end up 2-1, and they did end up winning the league comfortably. Okay, well, that's a minor consolation, I suppose. There's nothing we could have done. Even if we'd won that game 10-0, we'd still have been in the exact same position as far as the playoffs are concerned. Because, yeah, absolute bullshit. So in the quarterfinals of the playoff, or the first round, I suppose it is technically called, Dorking beat Aldershot Town, so the people who led the league for most of the season aren't going to be going up, and Barnet beat AFC Fylde. So that actually means that probably the strongest team in the division, and the team that gave us a lot of problems a month or so ago, neither of them are going to be in the semi-finals, so that is very good to hear. But that does mean that in the next round, we're going to be playing Barnet. Now, Barnet obviously came 4th in the league, so that's only one position below us. So it does seem like the fairest matchup. Woking are going to be playing Dorking. How did we do against Barnet this season? They beat us 1-0 early in the season. I remember Mark Yeboah actually, because I remember that mentioning that wasn't Ephraim. And we drew 2-2. So we haven't beat them this season. Although this game, did we do this live? We were ahead. Then they got a penalty and then drew. And they had a goal disallowed or a penalty saved or something. Yeah, I remember this. 19th of February. I mean, I should remember it. That was pretty recent, realistically. Was that in our run of 3 draws? Yeah, it was the last one of that. So yeah, so we're going to be taking Barnet on, and that's going to be in the next episode. I think this is a one-off game. I don't think there's 2 legs to it. I think I'm going to double check that just to make sure. Yeah, it does just look... I can't see anything about a second leg. It would normally say if there was. So yeah, we play Barnet for the chance to probably play Woking again. Or maybe Dorking. These, obviously, Woking, Dorking, we played them next to each other. And that wasn't a great time for us, but I would like to get some revenge on Woking for that time when they beat us 4-3 at the end of the season. But yeah, either way, we've had 2 games today. Let's just get through this. So I'm going to wrap this up here. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, maybe leave a like or comment down below. Really just help out a great deal, and it means a hell of a lot to me as well. We will be back next time for this game against Woking, our first ever playoff game on the account. We're looking to set up that Wembley date. So yeah, make sure you subscribe to make sure you don't miss that. And I'll see you next time.